Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Saturday, December 4, 2021. The sun is in Sagittarius. As our days continue to become shorter, it's important to have the capacity to see the brighter side of things, and this is a power that Sun in Sagittarius brings out in us. When we follow our joy, enthusiasm, and thirst for adventure, we often find ourselves arriving in the right place at the right time. The moon is also in Sagittarius all day today. Double fire sign trouble, friends. We desire to be true to ourselves, and that can cause us to be at odds with anything in our lives that feels inauthentic. Pettiness and grudge holding will have to take a back seat for now as we put the courage of our convictions behind the wheel. The new moon, waxing crescent phase of this moon, calls on us to set our intentions with respect to that which fires our souls, and to begin to visualize what it will look like when the goals we set are put into motion. Set intentions and begin to visualize. We'll make a couple little more fiery fire signs there. Okay, let's take a look at the planetarian aspect energies before we get into any further interpretations. I've prepared a legend of the symbols we're working with today so that we can have an idea what energies are at play. As ever, at the top of our list is the sun, and the sun relates to our outer life. That is who we are when we step out the door, the person that people get to know when they meet us for the first time, and also how we engage in our civic, social, and work spheres. Next on the list, we have the moon. The moon relates to our inner life. That is our relationship with ourselves, the emotions we feel, our intuitions, the things that we know, and as well as how we engage in our domestic sphere with the people who are there and in the place where we are. Mercury represents the intellect, that is especially our day-to-day thoughts, communications, the plans that we make, and the traveling around that we do. Neptune relates to our sense of humanity, or what is your relationship to the human collective. Jupiter represents growth, expansion, positive vibrations. Saturn is about the structures that we maintain in order to support ourselves and our loved ones. And Chiron is about the healing that we have to do in this life. As for the aspect energies, we have on the board today a conjunct. Conjunct literally amplifies the effects of both planets involved, so you'll see a strengthening effect of those energies. Square represents the potential for challenges, and sextile is a very positive, cooperative sort of energy that generates something good. Signs of mention on the page today are Sagittarius and Pisces. So with all of that said, I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner lives, setting the tone for our emotional and domestic experiences. The moon moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may be felt as emotions or intuitions that occur to us throughout the day. The sun sheds light on our outer lives, setting the tone for our more social experiences. And I address the rest of the planets on this side because they last longer and they have more of an impact on our actions out in the world. Today we start with the moon at 4:01 a.m. Central Standard Time, friends. The moon reaches its perigee, so the moon's orbit lasts about 29 days, and it comes back to the same point every 28 or 29 days. So once a month, it reaches its perigee, which is its closest point in its orbit around the Earth. Let's draw our little diagram. That's the Earth. And this would be the moon in its orbit right now at its closest point. It's funny, that kind of looks like a little angry bird too. Let's give it some legs. So when the moon is at its closest point to the Earth, this really just indicates the greatest possible influence of our inner life happenings. We're more likely to feel these things these energies as they come up through our days. Increased influence. Heart and home, folks. Then at 6:43 this morning, the moon makes a conjunct with Mercury. So the inner life and our intellect sort of empower and amplify one another in this aspect. This can bring up some emotional sensitivity. And that emotional sensitivity can cloud our judgment. It is a good time to, enjoy reminiscing with people you know well. It's a good time to write in your journal or talk about the things that you feel that are on your mind. It's not a great time to try to make final decisions about anything right now, though, because, again, our judgment can be clouded. Then this afternoon at 2:22 p.m., friends, the moon runs square to Neptune. So this is another one that can give us difficulty with our perception. It's possible that somebody is trying to deceive us or that we are deceiving ourselves. It's not the good time to jump to conclusions, but it is a good time to use entertainment as an escape. So, if you've got that special TV show that you like to watch when you need to escape, this would be the hour to turn it on. I'm going to say again, difficult perceptions. Deceptions. But let's not jump to conclusion. How do I say that word? Jumping to conclusions. It makes me think of that movie, The Office, and that guy, he had a bad car accident and then he made up a game called Jumping to Conclusions. It was kind of funny. Okay, and then at 11:08 p.m. tonight, a void of course moon runs sextile with Jupiter. Now, the moon and Jupiter always have a great time together, and with sextile influence, that's positive, cooperative influence. We feel social, friendly, generous. We desire to share our good fortune with others. We find ourselves in tune with social trends, and we want to act to make progress. So this is social and friendly, at least. Desiring progress. So anything that we do along those lines of, moon sextile Jupiter, where we get to socialize, be friendly with our friends and loved ones, give of ourselves, sort of expand our circle, those things are kind of blessed under that energy, and they're likely to generate a good outcome. So the lunar energy signature today has us experiencing some emotional and intuitive sensitivity. Those things that confuse us or, things that aren't adding up, those things can be set aside for another time. But those things that are clear to us can be acted upon with powerful, positive results. And the moon will be void, of course, from 11 o'clock this evening till about 5:30 tomorrow morning, which equates to a reduced influence in our lives, even though the moon just made us perigee, so the reduced influence is a little increased. It makes it a great time to journal, dream, and otherwise delve into our intuitive practices. That's our void, of course, hours. As for the sun side of the page, in the ongoing column, we continue to have Saturn sextile Chiron until about the 10th of this month. So check your natal Chiron placement if you haven't already. What that tells you is what kind of healing you're working on in this lifetime. And when you know what kind of healing you're working on in this lifetime, you can look back and sort of ask yourself and see how far you've come, what you have learned. And when you know what you've learned from your healing, then you have this opportunity during this aspect to take what you've learned and apply it in situations where you're around your supportive groups. So your supportive groups, that's your marriage, your family, the people that you work with, the people that the people in your faith community, your friends. Those are your social support groups, or just your support groups. And when you bring what you have learned from your healing to those groups, it's not in a way that like, oh, we're going to sit around and share what we've learned. Although that's not a bad idea. You could have a ceremony or a ritual with your friends, if they're up to it, where we discuss what we've learned about what healing we've done in our lives. But in general, when we want to tell people what we've learned, really it's not about telling them so much as it is about being that change that we have made for ourselves and would like to see in the world. So when we share our healing, when we share what we've learned from our healing in our supportive groups, it helps to reinforce our foundations. It makes our relationships stronger. It makes our friends and family stronger. Strong families, that's what I'm all about. Otherwise, we have no new sun side aspects today. Next week looks fairly active, but with a lot of our regular changes and opportunities. Mars will make a couple of action-oriented aspects in the beginning of the week, and we will see a first quarter moon in Pisces next Friday, which calls upon us to take action on these plans we are making with a sense of compassion and creativity in our hearts. We'll talk about these things and more as they come up. But that's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects and Astrological Weather Report for Saturday, December 4, 2021. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below this video. And if you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I'll leave this up for just a little bit longer so that you have time to peruse it. My beautiful artwork here definitely requires some respect. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more daily aspects.